What does it take for a girl born and raised in London to start a permaculture homestead in the Caribbean? Hi, I'm Zoe Smith, founder of the Exodus Collective, a platform that's all about encouraging folks to make moves to the Caribbean and really create the lives of their soul's desires. And one of the things I'm super keen to do is to connect to a place that's a little bit more nature centered, surrounded by plants, trees, far from the hustle and bustle. I moved to Grenada last year, Grenada in the Caribbean, not Grenada in Spain. And in a recent video, I posted about the fact that I'm living in that's close to the city, in a suburban area that's lovely, but it's not really where I want to be. So part of the reason that I moved back to the island is that my grandfather's house is currently uninhabited. Since he and his wife passed away, it's kind of been going to ruin. And I've long had ideas of using the space not just as somewhere to live, but the fact that it has so much land around, I mean, not acres and acres, but a decent sized amount of land. To replant, the sort of things that would have been growing here hundreds of years ago, whether it's indigo or tobacco or, just plants that have uses beyond the purely functional, and to just see what can be done with that. A few years ago, I started a herbal tea company here in Grenada, and we were planning to use the house as a production base. So we went in, cleared out, there was so much junk. I mean, not junk, sorry to my grandfather, but stuff that had been accumulated over decades and decades. So it took a fair amount of time to clear that out. While we were clearing, there were rats, there were bats, there were rumors of snakes. But it really felt so special to be in a place that had just been lived in for so long, and that he and his wife had clearly taken so much time to cultivate as their space, and the idea that I'm going to be there doing stuff, and one day my kids are going to be clearing out my stuff. And, it's just being someone who was born overseas, somewhere where I really had no roots, to come to a place where I am deeply tethered, and those who come before me are deeply tethered. There's a great sense of responsibility about that, but also delight in being in that space. So that was the plan for the space. We came to Grenada, I think in 2018. I lose track of time since COVID. But we filmed a video. We were doing a crowdfunding campaign to raise awareness about what we were doing, to get funds, to get the space up and running, and it did pretty well. We got some coverage in CARICOM's website, which is a really cool thing to see. But yeah, life kind of took over. The travel situation changed, health internationally situations changed, so progress ended up being a lot slower. And what is insane about living in the tropics is the way in which nature just completely takes over. So in a matter of months, if you're not active on the land, if you're not making stuff happen, it can just easily return to ruin. So as I was saying, the plan was to use the space for creating teas, and that still may happen, but I just think there's so much more that can be done. And permaculture is a concept that really interests me. And I think the fact that Grenada has such an agricultural history, both positively and one that's laden with trauma and resilience, etc. It's really interesting to insert myself into that space in the 21st century and try to think, okay, yes, there's this legacy of agriculture, like through a tranche of my lineage that is deeply problematic. And on top of that, I have a feeling that the house might have been an overseer's house. It's really old, like probably at least 200 years old. And I did find a map that had a map of a cottage and a great house. And I could be wrong. In fact, I'd love someone to tell me that I'm wrong, because I would love not to be living in a former overseer's house. But regardless, the Madeys estate was one of the largest sugar-producing plantations in St. Patrick's. And of all of the types of plantations that operated in Grenada, sugar was without a doubt like just the most deeply unpleasant already unpleasant bunch. There are numerous books that you can read that kind of document the sugar trade in the US and just how violent and brutal it was. So yeah, I think it's taken me a while to feel comfortable in that space, just knowing what has happened on the land, what has happened in that house, but acknowledging that that is the context in which it came to be, while still looking for opportunity to move that forward, to use the space differently, to, yeah, just regeneration. Regeneration is definitely the vibe that appeals to me, and not in some sort of let's gentrify, but more how do we work with the land, listen to the land in terms of what it needs, understand what it can produce that can be of benefit to others, whether it's through their diet, whether it's just about a place that you can go and is nourishing and restorative, and just something quite harmonious appeals to me. So that's why I'm looking at permaculture as a sort of framework, perhaps. Being in balance is something that I find important. Therefore, the environment that I'm in also has to be in balance. And permaculture definitely feels like a philosophy, a way to respect that and to incorporate that in. And homesteading, it sounds appealing, but I'm a Londoner. I was born and bred in a big city, so whether that's actually what ends up happening, I don't know. But I had the privilege to pop along to the house and chat with my cousin, Compo. I don't actually know his real name, but in Grenada, everyone has a nickname, and his nickname is Compo. He used to work there when my grandfather and his wife were alive, so he knows the land. And I just think, to work with someone who can treat their area with respect, who understands the cycles, because that's also one of the things when you're working in green spaces. Probably the worst thing you could do is just to be like, great, I've got this vision, let me implement it on the land. Like, no, you need to understand the cycles. You need to know what happens in dry season, what happens in wet season, what happens from 5 to 10 to 20 year periods. And luckily, Compo, having been familiar with the land for ages, he's able to, show me the ropes, really. So I filmed, it wasn't planned, but I ended up filming some video that shows the descent from parts of the land down to the river. The awesome thing is that there's this river at the bottom, which is just beautiful. So we walked down. It's very rough, it's very shaky. At one point I literally take a drop. So I thought I'd just share it with you so you can get the vibe of the place that I'm super passionate about. Like, it's a total jungle at the moment, and I don't want it to turn into something lawned and pretty and beautiful. I want it to feel real, authentic, wild. But as Compo keeps on explaining to me, it does need light. The trees do need trimming. This is your chance to see the place in its wild state. Will it become an Airbnb? Will it become my homestead? Will it become, I don't know, a retreat place? I don't know. But what I know is I love being there. I love hanging around with Compo, and I'm super excited to see what happens next. So if you want to watch a few minutes of understanding what the space is like and some of the ideas that Compo and I are talking about, stay tuned for that. And if you've got any suggestions, questions, if you know anything about tropical permaculture, please drop me a line in the comments. If there's anyone that I should chat to, I'm so up for learning, because I know very little, with the exception of being super passionate about herbs. And obviously herbs are going to be a big part of the space. That's probably going to be a topic, a content area that keeps on cropping up in the Exodus Collective, now that we're talking not just about how to make your move, but what do you actually do once you're in a place. Madeys is my primary concern going forward. So I look forward to taking you on that journey with me, and who knows, maybe one day you might actually be able to pop along and experience it for yourself. Yep.
Watch me like right there, today.
Okay, Can I use that as a stick? Thank you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right. Huh. So they knew where to go. Where? With that tree, that tall tree there?
Hmm?
That tall tree there is the boundary?
That one, yeah.
Okay.
And go straight to.
Okay.
And come back to.
Oh, look, and what's that? A well?
Hmm?
This is a well?
Maybe them long ago people used to pump water.
Okay.
They pull up.
There's another concrete structure up there. There's another concrete thing.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was one set of people land.
Okay.
Because I'll take the booze one.
Yeah. See, down here it's nice and flat, isn't it? So with the light coming in.
Well, you just cut me down, you must clean up.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And you want to nutmeg.
Really?
I one.
Okay.
I two. I three.
Okay.
Nutmeg.
Huh.
And you have the end they go so again. Because that picture.
Right.
Watch it.
Huh.
Very hard. When you pull, you can hit it down.
But you know what I like? So like down here, these plants, what's that, Tanya?
That was
What is it? Just
that was scratch.
okay. But I like these, and you see those little palms. I like those.
Them
So
palm is nice palm.
yeah, so to keep them, but all the other stuff.
You can plant a row of palm
Mhm.
on the side of the river.
Yeah.
On the river bank.
Uh huh.
Yeah, you can plant a palm on it.
But could we keep? Can we keep the ones that are there?
Hmm?
Can we leave the ones that are there already?
The palm on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the palm here to stay.
Okay. Good.
But more you could plant the young one better to hold the land.
Mhm. There's this other grass called Vetiver, and that's supposed to be good for along riverbanks. Yeah. It's like it's got really long roots, so it kind of holds the edges together.
Yeah, Aman.
Okay, that big old tree.
Yeah, Aman. I used to do a long time.
Uh-huh.
I will show you. You can get that almond on them and cut it,
Yeah.
and you have food inside it.
A little brown nut.
Yeah.
Yeah, we found some on the beach. The kids have done it. They're nice.
Yeah. They're almond.
Do you dry them or you eat them fresh?
You eat them fresh. You eat
Okay.
them fresh. More nice.
Mm-hmm.
You can get and start in your body. You have a deep one. Wow. Put it over there.
Really?
Wow. You know, you go up there to the river.
No.
When you go to town shop, you know.
Okay.
Then everybody go to town shop, you know. There's a lot of different river mixed up in that one.
Ah, okay. So in rainy season it gets quite high.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so this I like down here because it's flat.
Yeah.
Cleared away, there could be like a lot.
You know, don't let that place now. You can make a, as you say, going up on the boundary edge.
Mm-hmm.
You can make step,
Okay.
come down.
Nice. Because I was thinking round that way, but that's longer. But the route we took is quicker, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And it could be secure, more secure.
Yeah, more secure more than the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So then when you reach down there, you could do your thing.
Yeah.
Nothing will happen down there.
Right.
Understand?
Yeah.
Down here, you place now, when everybody come by you and you have a thing, they will come in down here, you put a nice step. You plant flowers on the side of it. You put a nice railing.
Yeah.
So they could hold and come down on the step.
Yeah.
So everybody go like by the river.
Because it's nice and fresh and cool.
And you go plant red flowers down there, you go throw them enough of them all, you only want to nutmeg. But no for all cook one, then you go chop it down.
They can go.
And very beautiful.
Yeah. What's that tree?
That nutmeg.
Yeah, I can see the nutmeg. Nutmeg. Okay.
I'll be selling the nutmeg.
And what do you say about the banana trees? Leave the banana trees?
Well, we go leave for the time, but as time goes on, you go need things to beautify your place.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
And you plant banana, you plant the more in the color, so, on the bank. You understand?
Yeah. And what's this? A palm or?
Yeah, that palm.
Okay.
Yeah, bush. And nice bush to drink.
Is it moringa or sugar dish or?
Yeah, poison in it.
Okay.
Nice bush to drink. Because you make a black and red bead.
Oh, okay. And they use it for jewelry and bracelets and things.
Yeah, you make a black and red bead. They are very good bush to drink for cool. Yeah, that's the name.
Yeah, I like those. Because you would pay like a ton of money for those in the shop, so.
Plant a whole row from here and that's to come right across.
Okay. So what would you say? Dig these up and plant them somewhere else? Okay. Yep.
I will leave them back. And afterwards, I will take them out and I will plant them.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think I'll show you where I can find the vetiver, the grass that people use. Because it's really strong. They use it for making ropes as well, but that could be planted along here. Wow. And there's the road, the side of the road, up top.
Nice place, man. They are very cool and nice. Very cool. Very young, they don't go up. They don't go up there, it's too hot up there.
You know, I wish I could live here. I wish I could. I much prefer it to town.
They are very cool and nice, man. Right by the river.
Yeah. And then with the bamboo, if we cut it down, will it continue to bear again?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But you're saying we could use it for the beds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bamboo, use bamboo and all kind of things. We can make bamboo cup and things.
Okay.
You use bamboo to make all kind of things. You know what people don't using it.
Yeah.
You make enchant people. Bamboo, everything.
I like the idea of bamboo cups. I'm good. Yam with what?
Anything.
Okay.
You go buy yam. Go into the salty. I mean, I'm digging to the yam, boy. That's how to walk like you know. So, yam, you in that, you know.
Who's Choki?
I'm married, don't go here, but you don't here.
Okay.
You give me a time already. And you?
Okay, nice.
You planting back here. You know, I clean up our planting back.
Yeah, there's so many of them, these.
Yeah, nice. This one you can put on so that yellow bay and it's very nice here. This one is yellow bay and it's very nice. Like that?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. The amount of coconut and everything down here.
That water grass, you know.
Okay.
Then you move, you see? You move.
Yeah.
With the water grass.
So it's good to keep?
Nice, beautiful thing. Anything black and you see agenda. See in the agenda?
Yeah.
And you don't clean up on the place first. You be better than staying down here on certain part because you go make nice seat and thing down here.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, nice seat and thing down.
And that's the thing, I like the fact that you know what to keep and what to throw. Some things can stay, but other things...
You're planting more fruits.
Yeah.
And more fruits you planting, and you're taking out some of them old trees and you're planting more fruits. Allow all cocoa trees and take it out of them.
Right.
You're planting more rain, more mango.
Yeah.
And things on them.
Yeah, definitely. We're on the same vibe, I like it. So I want to make some videos about the process of turning it from this into somewhere nice. So I think you're going to be the star of the show. Summer's going crazy.